Hello, everyone. Welcome back to One on One, New York's longest running sports call in show. I am Tucker Austin alongside Dan Bartels, and we have a very special interview guest with us this afternoon, world renowned and best selling novelist, Mr. James Patterson, here to give us some insight into his newest work, which was released today, Tiger Tiger, His Life as It's Never Been Told Before. Now, before we get going, I just want to ask you really quick, Mr. Patterson, how are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I grew up upstate New York, up the river a little bit. I'm on the river right now, and I'm still really lucky enough to see the world through the eyes of this kid from Newburgh, New York. So this is cool. I'm on the radio. Wow. And when I grew up, it was the radio, and a little bit of television, but yeah.
Yeah, and we're just as excited to have you on the air today. I'll start off with my first question. Unlike many
Oh,
novels,
start
which
out
are
with your fifth question. Huh?
unlike many novels, which are often catered to a specific age group, when it
Yeah.
comes to the sports world, there is a much wider age range when it comes to the fan bases. And in the world of golf, it's no different. There are adults who watched Tiger's prime growing up, and there are
Yeah.
younger kids who maybe only saw his 2019 Masters, maybe even younger, who never got to see winning golf from Tiger Woods. So, to that end, I wanted to ask, do you think that your experience writing for children, young adults, and adult readers across that whole spectrum helped you write this sports bio that will attract readers, many of whom are golf fans of a
Yeah.
wide age range?
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely right. I didn't really think about it, but I always felt that I could write for kids, and I do write kids' books. And I actually, with Kwame Alexander, I wrote one about Muhammad Ali when he was a kid in Louisville. And what we wanted to do, because all people knew about him was he wasn't a good student, but he had a learning disability, he was a bright guy, he was charismatic, he was unbelievably focused, very much like Tiger Woods. So that was a cool story to tell for kids. But yeah, no, absolutely. And I think what I wanted to do here, if I could, was to sort of create a real story about this flesh and blood guy, Tiger Woods, from when he was a 2 year old in his old man's garage and banging balls against the wall and stuff. And being at 5 years old, I mean, a lot of people, some people know, a lot of people don't. He was on the Mike Douglas show, which was a TV show for those that have no idea who Mike Douglas is. And at 5, he showed off his swing, which was amazing. And he predicted that he would beat Nicholas and Tom Watson, et cetera, when he was 5 years old. So that was pretty cool.
I wanted to piggyback off that, James, because you wrote about it in your book, April 13th, 1986. You see a 10-year-old Tiger Woods watch Jack Nicklaus win his six Masters, and then obviously Tiger goes on to be who he is today.
Yeah.
Pertaining to you, the same way Tiger watched Jack, were there any authors that James Patterson read growing up that maybe inspired him?
I became a big reader a little later. I was a good student always because I kind of want to get out of Newburgh a little bit. But I worked in a mental hospital, worked my way through college in a mental hospital outside of Cambridge, Mass. And that's where I started reading like a crazy person. And at that point, I was reading more serious stuff. I was kind of a literary snob, and I didn't read the kind of crap that I write. And that just kind of woke me up and got me into storytelling. Somebody said you're lucky if you find something you like to do, and then it's a miracle if somebody will pay you to do it. And one of my best friends now is Mike Lupica, the sports writer, and we've done a couple of books together. And we both grew up the same way. We're upstate New York initially, and then Mike's family moved to New Hampshire. And we both love to write, and we both are very lucky because at a young age we got to do it and make money on it, which was spectacular.
By the numbers, Tiger Woods is one of, if not the most successful golfer of all time. And you yourself, Mr. Patterson, you're one of the most successful novelists of all time, world famous
Yeah,
for your incredible work ethic and production volume. And in an interview last year with CNBC, you recalled a quote from your grandmother, quote, hungry dogs run faster, end quote.
yeah,
I absolutely love that quote, by the way.
yeah.
When
It's true
researching,
too. My grandmother knew what
yeah.
she was talking about. She was the cool.
Mhm.
Also, just in terms of his, Tiger obviously had his mother and father, and the mother, Tilda, she was the one that really got him into, crush the opponent. That was her thing. It's like if
Mm,
you're up 9 going into the fourth round, I want you to end up 15, whatever. And my grandmother, she really just built the confidence into me. And it was she had hungry, or go out and chop wood. Chop wood was her other thing. And just go out there and chop wood, and it'll be
mhm.
fine. But her thing with me, she said, "Listen, I know you have this dream of playing the NBA. It's not going to happen. But if you're a little realistic about what you're going to do it." And that was hugely important for me.
Well,
So I guess
James,
you do have some similarities with Tiger. That was going to be my question at the end. Like, did you see any similarities between yourself and Tiger when you were researching in terms of the
Well, I
shared
think we
level of
were both,
passion?
yeah, yeah, we were both lucky enough to have
Hmm.
people in our families who helped us build our confidence, encouraged us in realistic ways. And I mean, one of the interesting things about the book, and it depends on who you are, but a lot of people don't know a lot of this stuff. As a kid, he's a stutterer, he's nearsighted. When he went to Stanford, his nickname, and this is with his friends, they called him Urkel because he was, after that kind of nerdy TV character,
Yeah.
and it was kind of a nerd, and he didn't know how to take care of himself. When he at one point he goes out with one of his agents, and he's totally unprepared for the world, and he doesn't know how to activate his credit card, that kind of thing. Or even with the marriage, I don't think he dated much. I don't think he was prepared. I think she's a beautiful woman, obviously. And I think she was very bright and a good mom and all that stuff. I don't think he was ready. I don't think he had a clue. I don't even know if he is anymore. I think he was prepared to be a dad because he had watched his father and his mother. And some people might not think that's the best way to bring up a kid, but I think they did it. I think he appreciated the way he was brought up. But I don't think he was prepared to be a husband.
James, you talked about his time at Stanford. They called him Urkel. They made fun of him. For Tiger Woods, put yourself in the mindset of him and being so good at what he did for so long. It's obviously very hard to do. He's still dealing with things today, physically and things of that nature.
Sure.
What makes those kind of people so unique that from such a young age they're able to withstand the emotions, withstand all the pressure, and at the same time be good at what they're doing, similar to yourself in writing for so long?
Somebody said you're lucky if you find something you like to do. Then, as I said, it's a miracle if somebody would pay you to do it. And I think he recognizes how fortunate he is. I think he still loves it. I mean, I think he loves hitting the damn golf ball. And the thing is, he can go out and play around and play it as well as he's ever done. The trick is, can he do 4 in a row under pressure? And
Right.
that's where it gets a lot trickier. And I think that's what keeps him going. But the thing of it is, in terms of that Masters, the last one he won, nobody expected that. So would I be surprised if he won another tournament or if he won a major? Yeah. Would I be shocked? No. I don't think he will. But it's I think in the British he's only 101, 100 to 1. I mean, that's not too bad actually. Yeah, I don't think there's any chance. But he could all of a sudden, feel good for a few months, and who knows? Who knows?
In that
That
CNBC
might be Tiger on the
article,
phone there. Pay no attention.
it might be that, or it was from that CNBC interview where I got that quote. That I also found out that you would break up your writing routine with a little bit of work on the range. Do you
Oh
play any
yeah.
golf still?
Yes, I do. Here's my golf stuff. Here's my whole highlight, my sports highlight reel. I could dunk a basketball in high school,
All
and
right.
I'm 5'11", a white guy. That was weird in
Mhm.
those days.
That's me. I
And I
can't
and
dunk.
I and I have 9 holes in one.
Oh
Wow.
And,
wow.
and
That
and my
wow.
wife, who really is a legitimate jock, she was an all-American swimmer. She has 6.
Oh wow.
What?
Here's a cool golf story. Sue hates this story, but 6, 7 years ago, she had 4 holes in one. I had 3. On February 6th of that year, I had another hole in one. She's very competitive. She said, "I don't love it, but I can live with it." 2 days later, we were playing together. 2 days later, and I had another hole in one, and we're standing with her. We're standing on the tee. Does she say, "Nice shot, honey"? No. Does she give me a big hug? No. She very appropriately looks at me and she says, "You've got to be shitting me." And yeah, so
That's
now I've
awesome.
I've really leapt ahead. Although she's had 2 this year, So she went from 4 to 6. So she'll catch me and beat me, but that's okay. I'm cool with it. I'm happy. 9, I actually, this sounds like bullshit, but it's true. This weekend, I also have, I had 5 on second balls. I had another on a second ball this weekend. Sometimes I'll just drop another ball if I don't, not even, I hit one in the water. I just didn't like it. I'll just hit another ball and boom, in the hole. At
Yeah,
this point, I don't like hitting the second ball in the hole.
yeah,
That's
that's always tough, but you got to get the extra swings in, right?
yeah,
You
Yeah,
got to get
what
the
the heck?
work in.
You're
your
just
money's
out there.
worth.
It's not even work. I'm just out there, hoping and whatever. And apparently, I hit the ball straight. That's my strength.
All right. I
That's
want to give you one more question before we wrap up here. It has to
Yeah.
do with golfing and with the golf interest. And obviously, you're no stranger to the golf world in terms of writing. You co-authored the Travis McKinley series of novels, Miracle on the
Yeah.
17th Green, Miracle at
Sure.
Augusta, and Miracle at
Yeah.
St. Andrews.
Yeah.
Did your interest in the sport of golf in any way influence your decision to write this biography, or were you more attracted to Tiger's story as a man and less
I
so
was
as a
much more
golfer?
attracted. Yeah. I was attracted to Tiger's story as a human being. I just, I would hope, I don't, yeah, you look at what happened over the weekend and you hope that somehow we'll start trying to deal with one another as human beings and accept that there are differences and that's okay. And we can argue about them and that's fine. But I just wanted to try to capture this flesh and blood human being, very interesting life. I think he's important on a certain level. I think that as a golfer, he changed his sport. I think he got a lot of kids interested in golf who weren't interested in, and I think even though he's not, and he signs himself as Asian, I think a lot of people consider him to be black. But so he broke a lot of barriers in terms of that sport.
Of
So I,
course.
I think it's a really cool, interesting story. And obviously, he's had some bumps in the road as well, and that also makes it interesting. It's not as interesting. Here's LeBron James, and he really hasn't had too many real bumps. He's just a really, really good basketball player.
that leads me
And
into my
really a
final
good
question.
human being. What?
That
That's not fun. He's
Yeah,
just a
yeah, yeah,
he's just a good guy.
you
yeah.
you meant you mentioned LeBron. That leads me into my final question here. I wanted to talk about similar to you see Bronny James and his son playing with
What
his
is this
father.
show called One on One, but it's 2 on 1? That's
Well,
not right.
you're
Huh?
the special one, Mr.
Normally
Patterson.
it's even three,
Oh,
but yeah,
okay.
you got a special interview.
All right.
But
Okay.
talking about Charlie Woods just for a second, obviously Tiger
Yeah.
wins 15th in 2019. Flash forward 5 years later, the kid has a -3 handicap and he's only getting better. Could you see a world where Charlie Woods is better than his father? And
No.
okay, good. I
No.
just want to get that out of the way. But
Now,
good.
no offense to Charlie. No
Right.
offense, whatever. He's playing on a high school team down there. He's not the number one on the team. I think
Yeah.
he's a sophomore now, and he's a good golfer. And he seems to like to be a really nice kid, and that's a lot of pressure. And who knows? Maybe he will, but that seems unlikely.
But by the same, you're a father, you understand, like, how could that be? Tiger seeing that. How good does he probably feel seeing his son just become probably one of the better golfers of our generation?
I think he's. Look, I think he's. I said a little earlier. I think he did approve. Tiger did approve of the way he was brought up, and I think he's really tried to be a good dad. And in his, Sam did the introductory when he was into the Hall of Fame, and she had said she had inducted him into the Dad Hall of Fame long before that, which is cool. And I think Charlie obviously really likes his dad, and I don't think that's an accident. I think it's a good thing. I think he's tried hard, and I think he loves his kids, which is great.
Good.
But I think he's involved with them.
Yeah.
And that may be part of what as he has to make that transition from being a serious everyday golfer into whatever he's going to become. I think his involvement with the kids is a real positive and a plus for him.
Well,
Well, this has
Mr.
been a positive
Patterson,
and a plus. I'll tell you that.
yeah, absolutely. Mr. Patterson, it has been an absolute pleasure to talk to you today. Thank you so much for your time. I won't hold you much
No, I
longer
think
because I
this
know
has
you've
been
got a
great,
very
but I
busy
do
day
object
for
to
you.
the 2 on 1. I think that was misleading. And yeah, all
Yeah,
right, be good, guys.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you,
know you
Mr.
got a very busy
Patterson.
day. I just want to remind everyone that Tiger, his life as it's never been told before, is now available in bookstores and online across the U.S. and the globe. For Mr. Patterson and Dan Bartels, I am Tucker Austin. One on One will be right back. Stay with us.